What's going on, guys? Caleb here, and I'm on with Daryl. Daryl, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Glad,
Yeah.
yeah, glad to hear. So, Daryl, how long ago has it now since you joined Fractional Sales Consulting?
It's been a ride. It's been fast, but it's been
Uh-huh.
worth it for me personally, for sure.
Yeah. How many days now? How many days deep in would you say you are?
It's like Friday now and joined Sunday, literally midnight. So
This
it's
Sunday.
uh it's just a work week. It's been.
Yeah. And I guess kind of the impotence for this video, we'll talk more about it, but I believe you just closed a deal. If you don't mind disclosing for anyone who's curious, kind of we'll give away the punch, but you just closed the deal. And yeah, I'd be curious kind of what's the deal structure? How much is it? What's like the niche in industry?
So it's a trading offer. It's a very good trading offer, just a complete mess. And the, compensation is 5K base and then 10% ref share. So
Sweet.
yeah.
And this is your first time doing something of the fractional sales like type.
Yep, yep. First thing.
Yeah, obviously Daryl's come in, smashed it in a week, has closed his first deal for 5 and 10%. Let's take it all the way back. Kind of what were your expectations? I guess where were you at prior to fractional consulting? And kind of what were you doing for anyone who's curious? Because a lot of people come to us from the high ticket background. They obviously are skeptical of fractional sales consulting or even just the sales background as a whole. They're not entirely sure what it is. So for just kind of for context, you give us kind of like the spark notes of like where were things prior to fractional consulting? Like what were you doing then and kind of your experience?
Yeah, it was just a setter closer. I started as a setter that, got fairly quickly into closing, but I always kept setting in my own, calls and whatnot. I've been doing that for 3.5 years, but I was always like, I was pretty loyal in some way to, the business owners. I wasn't really hopping from opportunity to opportunity. And I
Mhm,
worked for businesses typically that were like 50 to 100K in revenue cash per month.
mhm,
And I was always already looking kind of like, what can go better and stuff like that, just besides my closing to improve that. So that was kind of what's going before. And, when I saw this opportunity, it just like it was fast. Everything went fast. I applied fast. We got into fast and I got results fast. So yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, what was kind of the moments up to fractional consulting, and what was it that kind of like sparked you to actually take an interest and join the program?
For me personally, it was just the fact that, I just got promoted about a month ago as a sales manager officially, leading a sales team of like, 3 people, 4 people. Um, that went pretty well, but I was just curious, like, about how to do like the company as a working in, like it was just all scattered, like the marketing was not there, the funnels and like all of that. And I just saw the ad and it immediately, talked to me and I was very curious about, improving, optimizing, and actually working as a consultant and working for your own in some way instead of just being
Mhm,
an employee.
mhm.
And yeah, as I said, just clicked immediately.
Yeah, and what would you say your expectations were coming into the program? Obviously, I think, I mean, you were someone that I remember when we first met. You were kind of in a place of like certainty, and you also kind of knew some people on the other side too could vouch for it. But what were your expectations coming in, just unvarnished?
Um, I didn't have much expectations as I was able to get the results right now because it's literally like if I get 2.5K base and 5% ref, I'm happy already. Like
Hmm.
that's what I
Hmm.
would take. But I did want it to be very fast and just immediately get in that consulting role with this offer that I was working on instead of just, doing setting, closing, and being a sales manager. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, that's was kind of what I
Yeah.
wanted.
And that's really a big piece of it too, I'd say. That's one thing we really try to touch upon with fractional consulting. And I remember we had talked about that is just figuring out a way to do all this without needing to take the sales calls. A lot of offers out there are always like, oh yeah, we're going to come in, but you need to sell. Or yeah, you need to do this, but you're going to need to sell and this, that, and the other. And it's just kind of a pinch. I guess was that something, or I guess how much of that were you experiencing in this offer? Like what would you say the biggest challenges you were facing?
I was like, some setter quit 2 weeks ago and I immediately was like, okay, I will get back into setting myself, that's kind of role. And I was closing myself. And,
Mhm.
we had the conversation that I would transition out of that position, but, that would have probably been already if the company grew to whatnot level. So it's different than
Mhm.
from now, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the things that we worked on. So that's why I'd say, what was your experience like? I mean, obviously you went fast. It's hard to say what was your experience like because it's pretty much, entry to close. But how was your experience to the best of your, for someone who's got maybe no idea what or maybe was like, you prior to this, how would you describe the experience? Where did you see the most value in some of the in what you got from FSC?
So the main thing is that I went fast, but I didn't understand a lot of things. Like I told you in the call as well the other day, it was very overwhelming. I literally had sometimes a dip that I was just, you know what, I'm gonna take a walk for an hour because it's just getting too much. Like,
Yeah.
I was going maybe too fast.
Hmm.
But the thing is as well is that you helped me really well through it.
Hmm.
With the one-on-one calls and everything. So that was very good. And it just brought me back to the simplicity of it.
Hmm.
And it just kept me going to right now, the call on
Yeah.
Friday.
And what was probably the biggest insight or takeaway you'd say? Like, was there any aha moments that you had kind of going through it? Because I know it was very much like we were sprinting through it, but what were maybe the biggest insights or takeaways that you got?
I think one of them that I was just underestimating, what I could get out of it. And I
Hmm.
was like kind of downplaying myself as well because I was like an employee, I was closing.
Hmm.
And you told me already, like the first time you said like, let's just shoot for 7 or 10K base and like 10% rev share is like that's nowhere gonna work. And I was even doubting at some points. I was like revising the action plan and the presentation. I
Hmm.
was like, I was skeptical, I was like that having those thoughts that actually no one should have about themselves, like the limiting
Hmm.
beliefs.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's just, I mean, the results right now it's like 5K base and 10% commission,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I didn't
Well,
expect that. No.
I wouldn't even say the commission too. That's 10K cash of like rev, right? So that's the full production of the team and all the things that go into that. So, think about it. I mean, you now get to kind of think a lot more like a business owner where each salesperson, right? You make as much from their work as they
Yes.
do. So, and that comes back to you without needing to take the sales calls. But I remember that we had broke that down pretty much in your chat where you had asked like, "Are you sure that doesn't seem a bit aggressive, does it? And a bit steep?" And I was like,
Oh yeah,
"Look,
greedy.
man,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah." Yeah, and I was like, look, they're paying this much just to like marketing, right? And they're not even getting
Yeah.
results. And you're taking on like this, this block of stuff. And so yeah, so I guess what's next? What comes over the horizon? Obviously, I think it's working on this offer, but what do you see as kind of like next in the belt for you? Is it staying on this offer? Do you see yourself going for maybe another client or kind of how do you see the road that lies ahead now?
I mean, the thing is, I am kind of loyal somewhat because I didn't had a lot of opportunities as a closer setter. So I'm really
Hmm.
looking to stick with this one and really grow it like, 200K cash and beyond. That actually close to the
Hmm.
million a month.
Hmm.
I did have a conversation already with two other companies about management and kind of,
Mm.
getting my feet wet there, but I don't know if that's too quick. Like I rushed through it pretty quickly, but I don't want to overdo it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we will see. Maybe with time a second one, but for now it's really just to focus on this one specifically to get results, get some good track record, and then build out from there.
1000%. And yeah, I think too, like this offer once more, it's a trading one. It's in a hot niche, well, hot niche, and also you guys have the brand, the social proof, and all the stuff that's already there.
Yes.
So yeah, it's making order the chaos. And yeah, that's really the job of an FSC. I mean, I'd say to some extent that's what I did a lot of is just like, yeah, no, 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 it's just this and simplifying it. What would you say for anyone who's skeptical? Imagine that you're not as familiar or as familiar as maybe you were through people knowing people in the program. What would you say for someone who's outright cold skeptic is sitting there, maybe has an opportunity from them, maybe doesn't? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Just ask yourself what you want to do. I think, like, if you want to grow more and you want to leverage the skills and time that you have, like, even for myself, there's people out there that have 20 years of experience. I myself have only 3.5 years. Like, just, leverage. If you want to do that, then this is the right thing to do for you if you
Mhm.
really want to take it to the next level. So
Yeah.
that's what I would
And
say.
just like that, things move quick. I'd say it's not even been a week. Like I think a week is in 2 days from now on Sunday. Or it's we started on Sunday here on Friday. Deal already elapsed and closed. Signed and done. So yeah. So with that, it's been a pleasure. For everybody. That's Daryl. So yeah. And if we're depending on where you're watching this, if you're curious and you want to get results similar to Daryl or an equal situation, somewhere around this video there'll be a link to set up a time to meet with me. So go ahead and click the link there. And yeah, I guess with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.
All right. Bye.